Whether the team has been giving us the highest of highs or the bluest of blues, we'll cover it all here. Commanders Nightly News. I, of course, am your host, Louie T. Thank you for joining me. Let's get to tonight's lead story. So, week 5 is upon us. Commanders have already completed their first quarter of the season, and there are more questions than answers about this team. I don't think any of us are fully comfortable with where this team is, what we have seen thus far. There have been things that we've seen that have been extremely positive and give you hope for the future. There are things that you haven't seen that you would like to see that occurred with this team last year. There are things that I frankly don't know if we'll be able to fix this season. It's just one of those things you're just going to have to ride out for the remainder of this season and hope to fix it in the offseason and moving forward. But all in all, we still haven't seen this team in all of its full splendor. We still won't this week because we're still missing a slew of players. We'll get to that a little bit later on, but that was to be expected. Nothing happened out of the ordinary on Friday when we got the final injury report, when we heard from DQ. Nothing, jumped out at us as odd or strange. We kind of knew what was what because of them leaving early, who they left behind, and who they brought with them on the flight. So this week, to me, week 5 represents an opportunity for the Commanders, not just to win and get back in the left-hand column and get back on track. Obviously, that is the biggest thing that needs to be done on Sunday at 4:25 on the left coast against this Chargers football team, is to win. Just find a way to get it done. But to me, this game represents more than just winning, more than just finding a way to get it done in what I think is going to be an extremely tough game and environment to go and win. This is about this Commanders team reestablishing who they are. For us in 2025, we have to establish an identity. We don't have one right now. The only thing that we can hang our hats on really right now as a team is that we can run the football and we can stop the run between the tackles. That is it. We really don't have anything else that we can hang our hat on a weekly basis, going into a game knowing this is what we do. Last year, we established that we were going to be aggressive on fourth downs. We were going to be aggressive, with tempo. We were going to push it. Last year, we established so many things about who we were as a football team. We just haven't seen those things this season. And to me, this particular game where you go out on the road early, you try to reestablish I don't want to say reestablish the brotherhood, because that would imply that the brotherhood had a disconnect somewhere, and it hasn't. It's still a tremendous brotherhood that they have there. But I think this is an opportunity to strengthen that brotherhood. I think that's a better way to put it. You go out on the road, it's just you. You're there for an extended period of time. They left on Thursday. They've been there Friday now, Saturday. We're going to talk about the scheduling, right, when we get to DQ's press conference, because he touched on that a little bit. But this is an opportunity for you to strengthen the brotherhood, reestablish who you are. You're getting your star quarterback back this weekend. He has to come in. He has to reestablish himself. There are people questioning him, even within this fan base, which is crazy to me. But that is the nature of the beast in the NFL. They love you 1 minute, and then they try to throw dirt on your name in the next. This is a massive opportunity for the Commanders to beat the allegations. We have not beaten the allegations in the regular season, only in the postseason. We still haven't really beaten a really good team in the regular season. Last year, we didn't beat any good teams really in the regular season. We beat teams over 500. That's a myth. We beat teams over 500 last season. But those weren't the upper echelon. This Chargers team is one of the best teams, not just in the AFC, but in the league. They are a really good football team. Here's an opportunity on the road to prove that you are capable of hanging with those that you share company with, or who might even be better than you. The odds suggest we're evenly matched for the most part. Last time I saw it, and I don't know, the number could have moved. The line could have moved. Last time I saw it, Chargers were 2.5-point favorites. That is not a lot of points for a team at home. It's not. It suggests that Vegas thinks we got as good as any shot to go in there and win. We're evenly matched teams for the most part. Chargers slight edge because they're at home. All I'm telling you is that while this game means a lot from a wins and loss standpoint, we need it. No one wants to fall under 500. And with every loss and every Eagles win, you get further and further away from the ultimate goal, which is winning the division. At some point, you got to get hot. You got to start winning some games and stacking a bunch of bricks in the left-hand column. The Eagles' losses will come. That's not our job to monitor their, success or their falters. Our job is to just find a way to win. You'll look up and there will be closeness. But you got to start winning games. And you're going to have to win against teams like this because guess what? There are a bunch more of these on the schedule. It doesn't get easier after this. The Lions and the Chiefs and some quality opponents, the Broncos and the Seahawks, they're all on the schedule. This doesn't get any easier. You're gonna do what you set out to do before this season started. You're going to have to beat teams just like this. And you're going to have to beat them in environments just like this because all of our tough games aren't at home. The vast majority of them are. Lions at home. Broncos at home. Seahawks at home. But you got to go to Kansas City. You got to go to Minnesota. You got to go to Philadelphia. Dallas is going to be tough. At the end of the day, this is an opportunity not just to win, but to reestablish who we are. Who do we want to be? You know what my mantra and my motto has been this season, and you're going to hear this a million more times. But this is another one of those weeks where if you say, they talk about being BMFs. You talk about being BMFs and you talk about being a heavy hitter. Those are two DQ-isms. BMFs and heavy hitters. Well, this is a heavy hitter game. And you don't win heavy hitter games without some BMFs in the locker room and on the field. So if you are who you say you are, then prove it. You're a heavy hitter? This is a heavy hitter game. Prove it. If you are who you say you are, prove it. It's really simple. Can't talk your way through these types of opponents. This ain't the Raiders. This ain't the Giants. You can't talk your way to a victory. You got to go, show, and prove. So if you are who you say you are, you a BMF? You a heavy hitter? That's how we see ourselves. That's how we view ourselves. If that's what we are, if you are who you say you are, prove it. Here's the best opponent we've seen all season. I say that this is a better team to me than the Packers right here. This is our toughest challenge to date this season. Let's see what you do. No excuses. Yep, we got injuries. You got your quarterback. You had a full week to prepare. You left early. No excuses. I can give you an excuse for the Thursday night performance against Green Bay. I got none for you. Other than we're injured. Everybody's injured. The Chargers have injuries. No complaints. None of them. You can't have them. This league is a no complaints league. No excuses. Figure it out. Here's an opportunity. Let's see what you do with it. In other news, we heard from Dan Quinn on Friday. Quick little brief Friday presser to send us into the weekend. We'll get to what was said there. But before we do any of that, let's check in on the final injury report for both teams heading into this massive Week 5 showdown. So for the good guys, we start with our injury report, and it looks exactly the way that I told you it would on Thursday. I said they left 3 guys at home. Those are going to be the only 3 guys that don't play. I said if they had any doubts about Debo or any doubts about Mikey or Duran or anybody else that you might have been concerned about earlier in the week, they would have left their asses back at Ashburn, right? Noah Brown, Sam Cosmi, Terry McLaurin were all ruled out Thursday. So they had a plan. They knew they were leaving Thursday. So they went ahead and ruled them out because they knew they were leaving them at home. Everybody else that got on that plane, including Ale Cajo, who was dealing with concussion-like symptoms, I told you, guess what? They're all playing. including Ale Cajo. Everyone on this list practiced in full on Friday. Everyone that's on this list has no designation for the game, no questionables, none of that stuff. Everybody's playing that's here except for the 3 guys that they ruled out on Thursday. So this injury report is exactly, I told you, it would end up being a very non-threatening injury report when it was all said and done. Unlike last week's where it was like, Bill was kind of sketchy all week. You're like, wait a minute, what's going on here? This one felt more in line with what we felt like would be a non-threatening injury report. Good to see John Bates practice in full all week. Hopefully we can get him through this game. Remember, it's a longer week for the Commanders, which is a good thing. Give them an extra day of rest for some of these guys who need it, clearly. So our work week won't start until Thursday next week. So that is a good thing. And hopefully we get through this game relatively healthy. And then we get that extra day of rest for these players as they head into. And remember, you're going to recoup it on the other side of this game. But then the next week, it's a quick turnaround because you play on a Monday and then you play on a Sunday. So it's a quick turnaround. So we gotta strap it up. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't think, week 7 is Cowboys. So it's not a primetime game. I was about to say, I think the following week, though, is a primetimer against the this week is it'll be the 5th. The 12th is the Bears, so that's the 13th. The 20th is the Cowboys. Yeah, the next week will be Monday night against the Chiefs the following week. So it's Monday night, then it's Sunday, then it's Monday night again. And then it's the Lions after that. And then I think it's the Seahawks, or it's the Seahawks after that. I think you go from Monday night to Sunday night, if I'm not mistaken. And then you get the Lions on the 10th in week 10 before heading over to Madrid for week 11. So this shit is crazy, guys. It is imperative that you find a way to win games like this, but you find a way to stay healthy because the schedule is going to get crazy for this team. It's going to be crazy. So good to see everybody on the list being able to practice in full and being ready to go for Sunday. We need all hands on deck. This is going to be a really tough game. You go to the ops, and their injury report is pretty much what I told you it was going to be as well. We already knew Joe Alt was going to be out, so that wasn't a real source of concern for us. Darius Davis was the guy that I had my eyes on all week, and him not practicing Thursday made me feel comfortable that he wasn't going to play more likely than not, and he is out because the guy that they have back there, Tarheeb Still, running back punts, he stinks. He's, too hesitant. He's looking for a hole. He's not running. So I think we're going to be able to gobble up their special teams. If we have to punt, I expect us to be able to, because Darius Davis is not back there. If that's assuming they put Tarheeb Still back there again. He was back there last week against the Giants. He did not do a very good job. The Chargers had bad field position all game, and he was a part of the reason why they had bad field position because he didn't do anything on the punt returns. I think we can dominate them in that facet of the game, special teams wise. This feels like a week where we can really, win those 2 out of 3 phases. I'm trying to win all 3. I'm trying to be complimentary football based this week, but I really think we can have a distinct advantage in the special teams game because of one of their injuries to Darius Davis. The other 3 guys that are questionable, Tucker Fisk, Will Dissily, those are big guys. All 3 of the guys that are questionable, I think they're going to play. First and foremost, I'm going to state my position on that. I think all of these guys are going to play that are questionable. But Mekhi Becton practiced in full, which is a big get for them. He feels like he's going to go. And then Will Dissily and Tucker Fisk, all 3 of those guys, Mekhi Becton, Will Dissily, Tucker Fisk, are massive components of their run game. Like when they want to run, they put 8 300-pound dudes on the field. Tucker Fisk is the biggest fullback you've ever seen. He's one of those, Patrick Ricard, 305 dudes. So he's like a big ass fire hydrant. So when they want to run the ball, they put all these big ass dudes. Will Dissily is 275, 280 at the tight end position. And then Mekhi Becton, we know him from Philadelphia last year. This is a massive 340-pound man on the interior of that offensive line. So, he might be 360 now. right? Like he's a massive guy. So these are all big time guys in the run game. I would love it if they couldn't play, but it looks like all signs are pointing to them being a full participant Friday. All signs point to those guys being available on Sunday. So everybody else, we knew they were going to be fine. Keenan Allen, Taheep Steele, Derwin James. We knew all those guys were going to play. So they don't have designations for the game. So again, nothing to see there. All right. So let's get to what DQ had to say at his press conference. It's a very brief one. He got in and out like he normally does on a Friday, but it was even more so because of the nature of them being on the road. They got him in and out. It was like a 5-minute presser. So he started off like he always does, talking about the captains. Your offensive captain this week is Debo. Your defensive captain is JK, Javon Kinlaw, and your special teams captain is Jeremy McNichols. So those are going to be your 3 captains going into week number 5. He talked about Jaden's work week, and he said that they were really confident in Jaden and his ability. Remember last week, he told us that, or it was Monday, I believe, he said, we're going to put together a strategy for Jaden and his practice schedule and what we feel like is going to be the best way to go about him working throughout the week. He was just a full participant all week. He said, we were really pleased with what we saw Saturday before the Falcons game. So they kind of knew that he was ready to go. He's put in the work the last 2 weeks, and they feel like he's ready to go. And so he talked about the work schedule for the team. And he said the reason that they left, he said, we kept this as close to our normal schedule as possible. So they practiced Friday. They left immediately thereafter so they could get out here, get adjusted to the time difference, but also keep their schedule pretty much intact. They were able to get up, have a team meeting Friday before practice, then, have the practice. Now they can sleep in the beds, get up, have a regular Saturday practice. Normally, when you're on an away game, Saturday is your travel day. So there's no normalcy to that. Well, this week they kind of did what they did when they traveled straight from Cincinnati to Arizona. And shout out to USC. He gave them some props at the beginning of his press conference. Shout out to the USC program for allowing us to use the Coliseum and, have just sort of like Arizona State did last year, really welcoming us in, giving us somewhere to practice, to stay, et cetera, et cetera. So shout out to USC, Lincoln Riley, and that program for doing us a huge solid, allowing us to come out to the left coast and get some work in. He talked about close games, and the NFL largely this season has had a ton of close games. We've watched it happen ourselves, right? This season, primetime has been crazy this year. For the most part, these primetime games have been incredible. They've been extremely close. And if you've watched a lot of the games, I know a lot of you are junkies like myself. If you've watched a lot of these games through the first 4 weeks, you've seen a lot of close football games coming down to block kicks and special teams and, play here or play there down the stretch. Just think about the last 2 weekends of primetime games. You had a tie, 40-40. You had a Thursday night game with the Seahawks and the Cardinals that came down to a walk-off field goal. You had a Thursday night game just past week, just 2 days ago, that came down to overtime and a field goal. So just think about how close these games have been, and there's a small margin of error is essentially what he said, and he's not wrong. And he said, we got to be prepared for these winning time moments, which we have not been this season. It hasn't felt like we've been dialed in like in the past in these winning time situations, and we have to get back to that. That's why I talked about this game being a game of reestablishing who we are, because it hasn't felt that way to me thus far. And so they really need to nail those winning time moments. They need to nail the 2 minutes before the half. They need to nail the final 4 minutes of ball games. We haven't done that yet. We've been sloppy in those situations. We haven't gotten critical stops. We haven't gotten the offense going. We haven't been aggressive in those spots to go. We haven't done the things that we know this team is capable of doing. They have to be better, eliminate the mistakes. And he talked about that. He said, we've drilled that this week because we know this is going to be a close one. I agree with that. I'm going to hammer on that a little bit later on. He talked about Jaden's homecoming. And Jaden is, already stressed that I'm going to have people out there. It's going to feel good to play in front of the home crowd. And he said, all of that is great. But, and we don't worry about this from Jaden's standpoint. We know who we have as a quarterback, but still, there's an emphasis that has been put on, hey, this is a business trip, bruh. I know you got a lot of tickets to get and make sure everybody's, got accommodations, X, Y, Z, but understand, like, you can come see them back in March, right? Y'all come link up in March, and that's some March shit. We here for business and can't lose sight of that, and which we know we don't have to worry about that with Jaden, right? But he did make sure he reemphasized, like, this is a business trip. Ain't nothing pleasure about this one. So he talked about all of the guys that were, dealing with something or nursing something, or guys that, they were just really precautious with this week. Debo, Mikey, and Duran. Duran did not practice on Friday. He's fine and ready to go. He said Debo and Mikey, they were just taking it slow with those guys. They wanted to do more on Thursday, and they told them, nah, we got a plan. But they turned those guys loose. We've all seen video footage of those guys running around at practice. Again, if there was something seriously wrong with them, they would have left them at home and they wouldn't be playing, or they would have, at a bare minimum, been questionable on the injury report. There's no designation. Those guys are fine. I'm not concerned, and neither should you. And I told you guys on Wednesday when they showed up on the injury report, I'm not concerned. I'll let you know when I am concerned. And my point of cutoff would have been getting on that plane. Anybody that's getting on that plane is playing. They're not bringing anybody with them that isn't going to hit the field on Sunday. So once they got on the plane Thursday night, I was like, yeah, no, we're good. We're good. He talked about Mikey's adjustment. Mikey, obviously, last year played a huge chunk of the season outside as a boundary corner. This year, he's primarily been in the slot. There have been times where he's had to go out there and been pressed into action as a boundary corner due to injuries and circumstance. But they drafted him to be a nickel. Everyone, I keep telling people, stop with the Mikey going out to boundary corner shit. We found out last year that that's not Mikey's home. That is not where Mikey belongs. Mikey is 5'9", 5'10". He should not be out there amongst the Giants. He is a nickel corner. That is what they drafted him to be. So let him settle in. Has he been great to this point of the season? No. But this shit doesn't happen overnight. You get better by getting reps, not by getting less reps. At the first sight of danger, you guys can't turn and run every single time. Has he been great? No. Let him. That's why I keep saying about Marshawn Lattimore. The first sight of trouble, you guys want to get the hell out of Dodge. Get somebody else in there. No. Who else are you going to put in the game? Jonathan Jones? He's on IR. Not putting Mikey out there. They drafted him to be a nickel corner. That's what he's going to be. And he's going to be a damn good one, but he needs more reps. He needs more attention to detail. He needs more opportunities, more time on task. That's what he's getting right now. They shouldn't waver from that plan. They should figure out what's the best way to use him. And that's what all these reps are for, that you're banking. You're figuring out, what does Mikey do best? How do we best utilize his skill set and his talents? The more reps he gets, the faster you can get to what can we do with Mikey to make him the best football player that he can possibly be? How can we maximize his talents? I can tell you how I feel about it, but they got to figure that out. And DQ basically said, no, we drafted him to be a nickel. We've had to move him around a little bit, because of circumstance, but this is what we envision him being. A nickel. Damn right. He's a nickel. He's a nickel. And then he answered Jaden protecting himself. And he's like, yeah, it's a fine line, but, ultimately, he's a young player. So, he's still learning, and Jaden, I actually feel like he's done a really good job of protecting himself, to be honest with you. That hit was so unique because he had Micah chasing him and he's looking back instead of looking. Normally, when he's looking forward, he protects himself. That's the first time I've ever seen him continuously peeking behind him because he knows how fast Micah is, and he knew he was running out of time, and that got him lit up in front of him. Instead of him paying attention to what was going on in front of him, he was so preoccupied with what was going on behind him that he didn't protect himself. He usually gets down, he gets out of bounds, whether it's a dive, it's a slide, he usually protects himself. So I'm not concerned at all. He was asked, the knee brace that we saw him on with at practice, is that what he's going to wear in a game? And DQ said, yes, he is. So we see it. We know what it is. We acknowledge it. We knew he was going to be playing with a knee brace. I'm ready. I'm ready for him to get out there and get active on these boys, man. Well, we need him. We need him bad. So that was DQ's press conference, essentially. Now we're going to get a word from our sponsor really quickly, come back on the other side, and we're going to get to the game plan. What is it going to take for the Commanders to have success against this Chargers football team in week number 5?
Sleeper. Sleeper is the best way to experience and connect over sports together. It's a one-stop shop for all of your sports needs. You can celebrate and chat in the games in real time with other users, get the fastest scores, blazing fast news and alerts right at your fingertips. Play in fantasy leagues and win real money on picks contests. So enjoy sports the way they were meant to, together. Download the #1 sports app today. Predict the hottest football stats like passing yards, receiving yards, touchdowns, interceptions, and much more to cash in on your daily fantasy football skills. Use promo code LTN and Sleeper will match your first deposit up to $100. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. Sleeper.
Let's get to the game plan. What is it going to take for this Commanders team to go on the road in a tough environment and come out with a victory over the Los Angeles Chargers? I think this is the stiffest test the Commanders have had to date. I know that the Packers game didn't go well. That was a Thursday night game. I think this, by far and away, is their biggest challenge of the season. This is a damn good Chargers football team. For the first time this season, I'm going to keep it a beam with you. I am not confident. It's the first time this season that I didn't go into a game fully expecting, like, no doubts, no ifs, ands, or buts. It's the first time this season where I've gone into a game where I'm like, I see us losing. I didn't think we were going to lose against the Packers, and I didn't think we were going to lose last week against the Falcons. I was super confident in both of those games. That is not the way I'm feeling right now. I'm going to keep it a being with you. That said, I definitely see a path to victory, but we got to execute. So let's talk about it. Offensive keys. Start with the first one. To me, win the line of scrimmage and early downs without mistakes. I also want to see Bill shine in this game. It's time for us to take the bubble wrap off of this kid. And again, you can still have your running back by committee. I expect Chris Rodriguez to get the first, chunk of carries in this game. I don't expect Bill to start the game. We haven't gotten to that point yet. They're going to hold on to this ideology of we got to have this running back by committee. I think as the season progresses, they'll realize Bill is, the guy that needs to carry the rock, needs to start the game, needs to be on the field the most. But in this game, Bill needs to be featured. And so whatever that looks like, I'm hoping at least 12 carries for Bill, 14 total touches, 15 total touches, somewhere in there. If they can throw it to him out of the backfield as well. They finally threw it to him last week. So then maybe that's a new wrinkle that they're going to put into the offense moving forward. But ultimately, he's the best you got in that backfield. He's the guy that has the most dynamic ability. Every time he touches it, it could go the distance. He needs to touch it more in this particular game. Hopefully that happens. But we got to win the line of scrimmage. This is one of those games where you have to win up front, not just for the sake of Jaden Daniels. And shout out to my guy, Carmi, from the Doug and Carmi show. He had a great post the other day on X. I believe I wholeheartedly subscribe to this theory, right? Carmi said that he expects Cliff to have Jaden keep a read option within the first 2 possessions just to show that the whole playbook is open, just to show that he is a threat to run. I am 110% on board with that ideology. I expect them to do it's the same thing. I remember this like it was yesterday. When we played the Bears in week 6, I believe it was 7. I think it was week 7 last year after the Carolina game and the injury. They had, it was all this scuttlebutt the entire week about whether Jaden was going to play, not play, and then he ultimately played. And, here we are thinking they got to protect him. He can't be running. And like the first or second possession, he kept the read option. He got out of bounds, but he kept the read option just to show the Bears, I'm not out here for show. This is not a token Jaden Daniels out here that's a sitting duck in the pocket. I can run. I think they're going to do the exact same thing in this game, where they're going to also show the Chargers that Jaden is a live, he's a live quarterback back there. He can actually run. He is a threat at all times. You must be wary of him. That will take maybe a guy to be spying him. Maybe that will take a guy out of coverage and make it a little bit easier on him as he surveys the field. This is a really good zone football team, right? They play excellent zone coverage. We got to also remember, this is a top 5 pass defense team, right? This is a top 5 scoring defense team. So you got to win the line of scrimmage. I really think we can run the football on these dudes. I really, truly do. But yes, you have to protect Jaden, but you got to open up holes in the run game. We have to establish the run in this game. We cannot apply pressure to Jaden to have to go out here and be Superman, right? Also, we've done, I think, to this point of the season, I actually think we've done a really quality job on early downs. Our problem is we have too many damn mistakes and setbacks. You'll have an intentional grounding that'll, derail an entire drive. You have a holding penalty. Like, you had a 40-yard completion to Jalen Lane, and what do you have? A holding penalty to negate it, right? We had so much early down success against the Falcons last week, and we would piss it away with a mistake, a penalty, a missed opportunity, right? And end up not converting. That's how we ended up 1 of 8. We were in so many 3rd and long situations because you would have success on first down, or you'd have a great play and it's negated due to a penalty. We got to stop that shit. That's been our Achilles heel. The Giants game, we were killing those boys on first down, and then we get a penalty. We'd be in 2nd and long, and the only thing that saved us in that game was that we had some really big 2nd and long conversions and completions that either put us in 3rd and short or it got us the first down altogether. It's the same thing that the Falcons did to us last week. Got into a bunch of 2nd and longs and were able to convert. But we can't live in that world. We can't live and survive in that space. You can't thrive in that space. Even if you survive, you can't thrive in that space. Eliminate those mistakes. Find yourself getting a first down on first down, a first down on second down. And if you can't get a first down on those downs, be in 3rd and manageable. Don't be in 3rd and 9 and 3rd and 13. And we were in 1st and 30 last week. We can't live like that. Eliminate the early down mistakes. Win those first 2 downs to set you up for 3rd down success, which is going to bleed into my next offensive key, the Jaden Daniels effect. We haven't seen it all year long. We have not seen the Jaden Daniels effect all year long. I think we got a little taste of what it's like to not have him, because we were able to play such good complementary football in week 3 versus the Raiders that you didn't feel his absence. Marcus came in, he filled in, he did a really good job. Everything was all good. We were singing his praises. We talked about the special teams and the defense getting stops and this, that, and the third. It was all good, right? Then week 4, we left a lot of meat on the bone. Offensively, defensively, and it felt like, man, if we had Jaden in this game, we might have been able to win this thing. Well, it's time for the Jaden Daniels effect to be felt. He was good in week 1, but he wasn't his best. He wasn't his sharpest. We didn't see the best version of him in week 2 the last time we saw him. Obviously, nobody was good in that game for the most part, including the staff. Here's an opportunity for us to really feel the Jaden Daniels effect. This is, to me, him saying, all right, I had time to sit back and watch, nurse my injury, but now I'm like a caged beast ready to be unleashed. Let's go. Let's go. I need this to be one of those 20 of 25 for 260, right, type games where he's just super accurate, cerebral, in the zone, 260, 2 touchdowns, 1 on the ground if need be. Whatever that looks like. I need one of those types of games from Jaden on Sunday. We need one of those types of games. Super cerebral, quick release out of his hands. He's sure about where the football is going. Accurate when guys are open, giving them a chance to catch the ball with run after the catch opportunities. I need my demon back. I need to see the Jaden Daniels effect. And the Jaden Daniels effect is wide-reaching because it affects you on third downs. He can convert with his legs. Marcus refused to run last week. He can convert on fourth down. He gives you the confidence that, hey, we can go for this on fourth down. Tempo seems to be a real thing when Jaden was out there. I didn't feel tempo the last 2 weeks with Marcus. I didn't feel it. I didn't feel the tempo. I feel the tempo when Jaden is out there and this offense is right. I feel the tempo. I see the officials standing in the way. Get your ass out the way. We got an offense to run. The Jaden Daniels effect not only affects the offense, it affects the defense. They're not on the field as much. Time of possession flips. We need the Jaden Daniels, the full Jaden Daniels effect, because it affects all facets of the team. Let's see it this Sunday. Next offensive key, reestablish our identity on offense. And that, again, kind of ties into the Jaden Daniels effect. I need to see us be the third down offense that we know we are. We haven't been. 33% is not us on third downs as a conversion rate. That's not us. It's not. We were 2 of 2 on fourth downs last week. That's more like it. If we got to go on fourth down, let's go. Scared money don't make money. We were 2 of 2 last week. It's time we start mashing the gas on fourth down if we have to. This might be one of those games where you may have to press the gas on fourth down early just to set the tone. Let's hope we're not in those situations, but if it arises and you're somewhere right around midfield and it's 4th and 4, it's 4th and 3, it's 4th and 2, this might be one of those games where you say, hey, let's do it. Jaden, you know what to do. Red zone. We only got there one time last week. That's not us. That's not us. One trip to the red zone. That's it. It's not us. We got to get back to establishing who we are. We are a drive-heavy team. 12 plays, 13 plays. Look, I want explosive plays. But with this group that we have out there, if it ain't Bill, if it ain't Jalen Lane, it probably ain't happening. And that's okay. Last year, we didn't have a lot of explosive plays. If it wasn't Terry, it wasn't happening last year. That's cool. Let's methodically drive the football down the field, do what we need to do, whether that's a third down or a fourth down. But we got to get to the red zone, and when we get there, we got to cash in and score touchdowns. Got to score touchdowns. And then I want to see the tempo. I need to see the tempo. We got to get back to us. Tempo is such a big part of who we are. It's a big part of our identity. I need to see the tempo this week. We got to reestablish who we are on offense. We got to establish our identity. We really haven't done that this season. And that requires us to eliminate the mistakes, the penalties, the drops, the missed opportunities. We have to eliminate those. You can't go for it on fourth down if it's 4th and 9. You can't go for it on fourth down if it's 4th and 7. Because it was just 2nd and 20. And then it was 3rd and 13. And then you get 4 yards and or you get 6 yards and it's 4th and 7. You can't go for it on 4th and 7. That doesn't make any sense. 4th and 4 is in your wheelhouse. 4th and 3, 4th and 2, 4th and 1. But you can't be in 3rd and forever because of a penalty on 2nd down. And now you're not in a position to go for it on 4th down. That's what's been holding us back. And then last offensive key, execute in winning time moments. I firmly believe that this is one of those heart in your throat games. If you're a Commanders fan, this is one of those you're gonna probably flatline on the operating table, and we're gonna have to bring you back with the defibrillator. This is one of those type of games. This is one of those type of games. This will not be. I don't believe on either side. I do not believe this is a blowout game. I firmly believe this could ultimately come down to which quarterback has the ball last. This is the type of game I think it could be. I think we're going to show well defensively in this game. I think the offense is going to, be good, not great. And this is going to come down to literally the final possession. And it may come down to how you execute right before the half, but it's damn sure going to come down to how you execute late in this game. Winning time moments. You talk about them, time to go live them. Last year, there wasn't anybody in the league. I would have taken our team over anybody's in winning time moments last year. That hasn't been the case this year. We haven't been aggressive. We've been out of sorts. We've made poor decisions. The only time we maximized a 2-minute situation was against the Raiders right before the half. And they had to aid us with a face mask penalty. Otherwise, Marcus was about to take a sack. We had no timeouts. That would have ended the half. If the Raiders didn't give us a gift, we wouldn't have gotten any points there either. We haven't been sharp in the 2-minute situation. Last week was a joke right before the half. All 3 timeouts, Marcus had us rolling. And then for some reason, he almost throws a pick, and it felt like you guys went into the tank. Okay, we don't want Marcus to make a mistake now. Let's just go to half. Bullshit. That's not who we are. We don't take our foot off the gas pedal. At the end of the game, winning time moments, we got to execute. Because this feels like a game that's going to come down to winning time moments. Can we be clutch in those winning time moments? We got the guy at quarterback to do it. Let's see what happens. Let's see if the coaching staff has it. Next, so now we transition to our defensive keys. And the first defensive key, this is a big one. This is the biggest one on the defensive side of football. Dominate the line of scrimmage. You can't be good in this game up front. You need to be dominant. Their offensive line is compromised. There's no excuses. You need to dominate their offensive front. Whether Mekhi Becton plays or not, I don't give a shit. I want to see more Javon Kinlaw in this game. I want to see Payne and company dominating. I want to see Eddie Goldman penetrating and getting in that backfield and blowing shit up. I want to see these ends setting a physical edge. I want to see pressure on Justin Herbert. We'll talk about that here in a second. But we have to dominate the line of scrimmage. In our 2 wins, we did that. In our 2 losses, we didn't even come close. If we don't get to Herbert, if we don't disrupt their run game, we don't blow it up, it's going to be a long day for this defense. A long day for this defense. Have to dominate the line of scrimmage. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. The next defensive key, disrupt Herbert and the timing of the wide receivers. So if you've watched film with me, then you know one of my biggest pet peeves this season and my gripes with this staff is that we haven't been aggressive at rerouting receivers, disrupting their timing. We're giving everybody free releases. Yep, there's a lot of motion and shit going on, which allows for free releases, a lot of bunch formations, which allow for free releases. Teams aren't stupid. If you want to get a free release for your receiver, there's ways that you can do that, right? And teams have done that very effectively against us. But we got to play bunch formations better. We got to play stacks better. Like, we have to be better at disrupting the timing of these receivers off the line of scrimmage. If you let Ladd McConkey, if you let Keenan Allen, if you let Quentin Johnston get free releases off the line of scrimmage, you're going to get cooked in this game, especially if there is no pass rush. Especially if there's no pass rush. So you have to disrupt Justin Herbert because I don't think our corners can cover their receivers. I'm actually pretty confident that our corners can't cover their receivers. I trust Trey Amos, whomever he's guarding, he can guard. The other 2 in this particular week, like Mikey can't cover Ladd McConkey. And that's not fair for me to ask him to try to blanket one of the better route running slots in the NFL right now. Just Ladd plays inside and outside, but that Keenan plays inside and outside, so you don't know which. He can cover Keenan Allen. It's going to be tough because Keenan is a master route runner, but he can keep up with him foot speed wise, all of that. Ladd is so quick. Ladd is so fast. I don't want to see that matchup too many times. Bottom line is we got to get to Herbert. So his feet aren't set, so he isn't comfortable. Because if he's got time to scan the field like Michael Penix had last week, same results as Michael Penix last week. Over 300 yards, damn near 80% completion percentage, kick our ass on third downs and score a bunch of points. That's what's going to happen if you don't disrupt Justin Herbert and the timing of the receivers in this game. So once again, we go back to dominating the line of scrimmage. You got to win up front. If you don't, Herbert's going to be surgical in this game. He's going to embarrass us. Next, defensive key. Eliminate explosives and keep Herbert in the pocket. Like, we can't be having this explosives conversation every damn week, but it feels like every week this defense is a culprit for giving up a big explosive play, 2, 3, 4, or 5. The shit has to come to a stop at some point. Communication is key this week. They talked about communicating being better. Joe Witt Jr. said this defense is going to be better. Don't talk about it. Prove it. If you are what you say you are, then prove it. You say the defense is going to improve, the communication is going to improve. Prove it. Don't tell me about it. Show me. You can't keep giving up explosive plays. This defense actually hasn't been half bad on first down. Where they've struggled mightily is second down this season. They've been great on third downs every week except last week. That was the first time they weren't really good on third downs. Even against the Packers, they were pretty solid on third downs. This past week against Atlanta was the first week they wet the bed on third downs. They've been really good on first downs. They've been really good on third. Second down has kicked our ass. Got to be better on second down this week. Got to be better on second down. That's where a lot of the explosives happen to us. Second down. It's almost like we let our guard down on second down. Figure this shit out. But eliminate these damn explosives. And they got a receiver that's killing in the explosive department in Quentin Johnston. QJ is getting vertical almost every single week. He was open again last week, and Herbert didn't have the time to find him, or else it would have been another explosive for QJ. We got to get to Herbert. We got to disrupt his timing. We got to disrupt the timing of these receivers, but we got to keep Herbert in the pocket too. A lot of his explosive plays happen when he gets out of the pocket, and to me, this is the first time this season we've encountered a true mobile threat at the quarterback position. You didn't have one in week 1 with Russell Wilson. You didn't have one in week 2 with Jordan Love. You didn't have one in week 3 with Geno Smith. You didn't have one in week 4 last week against Michael Penix Jr. This is the first quarterback that has the ability to hurt you with his legs if need be. We haven't really had to deal with that. The element of the quarterback run, the extension of the play to be a passer down the field. We really haven't had to deal with that. This will be the first time. Jordan Love hurt us just a tad bit. He's not looking to run. He hurt us just a tad bit when he did decide to run, running our guys over and all kinds of stupid shit. We already know this isn't the fastest defense in the world as is. So if you don't keep Herbert in the pocket and contained and you don't bottle him up and he gets outside, he's going to hurt us either with his arm because the pass defense is going to break down the field because it's too damn long, or he's going to hurt us with his legs. We have to keep him in the pocket. We do not have the Broncos or the Giants defense where we got guys that can track his ass down if he tries to escape. He gets outside of Jacob Martin, who's stunting inside, and he's going to take off. Might even run over a damn poor defenseless defensive back. We have to eliminate the explosives and keep Justin Herbert in the pocket. And those kind of go hand in hand. You keep him in the pocket, but you don't let him set his feet and you keep him flustered, you're going to be okay. You let him get outside the pocket consistently, and he will look to sever your carotid artery. Watch it bleed out. Lastly, the final defensive key. Win on third downs and in the red zone. I can't stress this enough. First of all, the Falcons were in our red zone way too often, and that was a byproduct of them converting on third downs. They were very efficient, including the final drive of the game when they looked to ice it. They were 4 of 6 in the red zone last week. That's no way. First of all, 6 trips to the red zone is nasty work. You should be ashamed of yourself. Anything remotely close to that performance, we have no chance of winning this game. No chance. Because the Chargers are better than the Falcons. Like, the only reason you still had a chance to win is because the Falcons aren't as good of a football team. The Chargers are way better than the Falcons. And if you play the way you played defensively this week, and the offense doesn't play, exceptionally well to match and offset the poor play of the defense, we got no shot. We got no shot. They can't touch our red zone 6 times. And if they do, then they got to be, 3 of 6. They got to be 2 of 6, right? They cannot be 4 and 5 of 6. You have no shot at winning. If they touch our red zone 6 times, we probably lose the game. Who am I kidding? Unless we find a way to get stops in the red zone. Who am I kidding? They touch that means they're extending drives, they're converting on third downs, they're killing us. They probably got some explosive plays. We probably won't win the game if they touch our red zone 6 times. But if you win in the red zone, you can make a lot of things better. The Eagles allowed the Rams in their red zone about 50 million times a couple of weeks ago. They still won the game because they forced the Rams to kick field goals and then blocked, a couple of them for good measure. But that's what kept them in the game, forcing the Rams to kick field goals. Let's not allow them in the red zone a ton. But if they do get in there, look, they're going to score touchdowns sometimes, but you can get a stop or two. You can't allow them in there a bunch of times. That's a violation. So, with that said, let's go to my final outcome of this game. And I told you this is going to be a heart in your throat type of affair. I think that the Commanders hang in there for 4 quarters against this really good Chargers football team. I think one of the keys to the game, and I didn't say this, but I'm going to say it right here, is we got to get off to a faster start. We have to get off to a faster start. And let's put that in the Jaden Daniels effect category, even though the defense has gotten off to slow starts here too on the road. We got to get off to a faster start. As a matter of fact, I'm going to write that down right now. We got to get off to a fast start. Put that on my notes. Because on the road, we've gotten off to such slow starts. We've been down, double digits and 2 scores in just about every road game this season. And then you've been playing from behind. And that hasn't been a recipe for success for us this year. It's playing from behind and playing catch up and chasing teams. We need to get out in front. And even if we don't get out in front by a bunch, like we did in weeks 1 and 3, you still need to establish that we're going to be here. We're not going away. You're not up 2 scores. You're not comfortable in the game. I want to apply game pressure to the Chargers. I don't want to allow them to feel good. In their 2 wins, their 3 wins, 2 of them, they established themselves rather early in those games. Against the Chiefs in week 1 and in the week 2 win over the Raiders, they established themselves very early on in those games and then kind of just put it on cruise control. They had to work for the Broncos game. They were trailing the entire 4th quarter, and then Herbert brought them back at the very end of that game and walked them off. So they are not, they're not immune to having to come back and win, but they like, which most teams do in the NFL, they like to play from ahead. Let's apply game pressure, real game pressure. We haven't done that on the road yet. We haven't led. How about we lead on the road for the first time this year? I'd really prefer us to lead at the very end when the scoreboard says all zeros. Like, we could be losing all game, but if the game ends and we're winning, that's all I care about. But let's find a way to take a lead for the first time this year. This is how I see the game playing itself out. I see this being a back and forth affair, nip and tuck. This is we're up 21-20 heading into the 4th quarter. The Chargers get a field goal with about 5.5 minutes left in the 4th quarter to take a 23-21 lead. And then Jaden takes us down the field. And I know you do not want to rely on Matt Gay for anything, but oops, you're going to have to rely on Matt Gay. It's a chip shot, one that I expect him to make, but you're going to have to rely on Matt Gay from 38 yards away as the Commanders win this thing 24-23 over the Chargers. I really feel like the team with the ball last is going to win this game potentially. I don't want to see our defense in a situation where we're up late with the Chargers having the football and having to stop Herbert from getting a touchdown, because I feel like we lose in that situation. So right now, we got to find a way to make it so that our quarterback has the ball last. I like our chances in that spot if it comes down to it. And I feel like I told you already, I'm not super confident in this game, but I am confident in two things. Our ability to dominate the line of scrimmage with all the injuries they have up front. I really feel like we have a chance to do that. And then Jaden Daniels being back. Those are the two things that give me confidence. And hence, I think we're going to have a chance to go in there and win 24-23 on a late field goal by Matt Gay. What says you? Leave it down in the comment section. Score and more. What do you expect to have happen in this game? Let's get to the comment section. We got a few comments here, and then we'll get out of here. My guy Ab, thank you for being a member of the MOBB for 48 months. Celebrate our guy Ab. Right, it's my man Lou. Hope you and your family are doing great. Likewise, as always. It's time for me. He says, time for my flag and I to go rep our Commanders. Now to SoFi Stadium. May the D play good so we can come back to Mexico City with another dub. You already know what it is, Ab, but I got to say it anyway. You know what you got to do. Go in and extract the dub. Bring the dub home. You know what you got to do. You've been given your mission, and that makes me feel really good because when you're there, usually wins follow. I'll be looking forward to the picture that you post on social media. That always gives me confidence. Oh, we finna win. Abs at the game. They don't really lose. They don't misbehave in front of you. They usually are on their best behavior when you show up. So that makes me feel even more confident going into the game that you're going to be in attendance because you're one of our best agents. You go in there and you always find a way on some MacGyver shit to find a way to get it done, man. So I'm looking forward to us winning now because you're going to be in attendance. Harry Lion King, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, we need a 5-game win streak in the worst way. HTTC. I'm going to tell you what. We just need to win one first, and then we can start talking about getting on a streak. If there was ever one to go get to try to start one, it's now. You win this game. You got the Bears next week, a very winnable game there. You got the Cowboys after that, another very winnable game, right? If there was ever a time to try to start a streak, it'd be right now. Here's the chance. Don't blow it. But again, this is a tough opponent. But if you were looking to start a streak, here's a great opportunity. Really, the Raiders game was a great opportunity. Beat them, beat the Falcons, win this game. You know, you could have got on a little streak, but we blew it last week. Now you got your quarterback back. Let's see what you can do in week 5 to try to start a streak and see if we can't get hot here. But I'll tell you right now, we got a number of streaks against the Chargers. I think right now we are, a 4-game losing streak against the Chargers. And I think the streak against the Chargers at home is at 5 straight they've won against us in LA or San Diego. And then you can think about all of the losses to the Chargers. We never beat these guys, home or away. They came to then FedEx. You remember the game? Antonio Gibson fumbled. This was week 1. Ryan Fitzpatrick gets hurt on the second possession. Heineke comes in up in that game late. Antonio Gibson fumbles inside the 5. They throw a back shoulder fade to Mike Williams for the touchdown. That ended up being a go-ahead score. That was a game where they were 14 of 18 on third downs. 14 of 18 on third downs. Yeah, that happened. And it was a low-scoring affair. They beat us 16-10 or something like 16-13 or something like that, 17-13, something like that. I remember the LT overtime game where they took us to overtime and he ran to the corner of the end zone and like a 40-yard touchdown run in overtime and then did the teardrop. Boop. So we've had our fair share of losses against this Chargers team. I remember one year with Jason Campbell. It was at the end of a season. We sucked ass that year, and we went to San Diego. They beat the brakes off of us. So I can't tell you the last time we beat the Chargers. They're due for, like, just like Atlanta had lost 4 straight to us and they were sick and tired of being sick and tired of losing to us. That's how I am with the Chargers. I'm sick of this shit. We're due for a win against these boys. We're due. Ab, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, my guy. Ab writes, San Francisco defense proved the team can be the owner of its own destiny. Even with several players injured, doing what's needed to be done when it's needed. Let's do the same. To me, that is indicative of a staff that implanted in their players' minds, hey, we don't make excuses, we make a way. Right? We don't make excuses, we make a way. And this staff has been that. Like, we haven't made excuses, but we haven't made a way this season. Nobody's looking for an out. No one's using the injuries as a crutch, but we just haven't found a way. We haven't made a way. Like, we're going to find a way to win this game. We didn't do that last week. We did that in week 3. We didn't do that last week. We got to do that in week 5. I'm with it. Loser, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Guy Loser writes, our corners need to be at their best tomorrow facing QJ, Ladd, and Allen, or else we're in for a long afternoon. And that is why we have to get to Herbert. They got to do their jobs on the back end, right? But it is imperative that we get to Herbert and at least get our hands up in the passing lanes and deflect some passes, right? It is imperative that because Herbert is a guy that will have passes deflected. For him to be as tall as he is, he throws down, right? His launching point, his throwing angle isn't over the top to maximize his height. He throws on this sidearm trajectory. We gotta get our hands up in the passing lane. We gotta deflect some footballs. We gotta, make him, change throwing platforms, move his feet. We can't allow him to stand tall in the pocket with a good base. He'll shred us. He'll shred us because of what you just said. QJ, Ladd, and Allen. We can't cover them. We can't cover them. Just on strictly our guys against theirs, they win. We have to get to Herbert. We have to. Have to. Or else it will be a long afternoon, loser. You're 100% correct. Silver Fox, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Silver Fox writes, hey, Lou. What's up, Silver? What do you think is really going on with Brandon Coleman? And ditto with Jordan McGee. Lastly, to help you out, I am super confident. I wish I had your confidence. I'm a little bit more confident now that our guy Ab is going to be in attendance. I am a little bit more confident than I was coming into this, but truth be told, I am still not super confident, but I am more confident knowing that Ab is going to be in attendance. That makes me feel like, oh, we finna win this game. But I mean, you heard my conversation with Candy Waller on Wednesday. Like, they really don't, I don't think they love what they were getting from Brandon Coleman on the practice field. And, they attributed that largely to him not being healthy. He's always injured, it feels like. But they also wanted to reward a guy that has been putting in the work. Just like last year, Chris Rodriguez, they told him, hey, you got to get into better shape. What did C-Rod do? He got into better shape. They rewarded him. He played well. He got into shape. And they said, we're going to reward you. Chris Paul, they told him the same thing. You got to get into better shape. He got into better shape. He's been practicing all summer long. He's been doing a really good job. And they said, you know what? You deserve to be playing right now, not him. So they put him in. I think it's as simple as that. I don't think Brandon Coleman has done anything like significant. Like, he didn't piss the staff off. There's nothing like behind the scenes nefarious going on here. I just think they felt like Chris Paul had better work ethic. He's been the healthier player. And as you've seen, Chris Paul, they gave him an opportunity and look what he's done with it. He's played well these 2 past weeks. He's played really well. And they say, you know what? He's given us some consistency that we never got from Brandon Coleman. So we're just going to let Coleman sit over there and think about what the hell he wants this to be. Get healthy. Get your mind right. We don't want no excuses. Now you're healthy. Go out here and practice your ass off and show us you want this spot, or else we'll just keep rocking with Chris Paul. We'll just keep rocking with him. And you'll become depth on the offensive line instead of a starter. Jordan McGee, again, Same thing. Availability is the best ability you can have. Every year, every summer, he gets hurt. Every summer. That's where those reps are vital, because once you get to the season, if I haven't seen it, it's hard for me to put you in the game when the bullets are flying and it matters most. It's hard for me to put you in the game and I ain't seen it in practice because you ain't never healthy. Once we get to the game season, like once we get to the regular season, it ain't no more, let's see what the second team and the third team, it's all about the dudes who are playing on Sunday. The time for you to get reps, the time for them to assess who you are as a player is in the summertime. It's in those practices during training camp. It's in those preseason games. He misses that shit every year. Same with Brandon Coleman. So by the time you get to the end of the season, end of the preseason and it's regular season time, now I'm just focused on the guys that are playing. I'm not focused on the backups and getting them better. The only way you're going to get better is by watching these starters, watching film, and getting in on some scout team shit. So I think McGee and Coleman, 2 years in a row in the summer, have missed an opportunity to show the staff, hey, I'm better. I can really help. Random call. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Random call writes, praying for JD with the news of Kyron Lacey, shaking my head. Yeah, I think Jaden's fine. I think all along he probably felt like his friend was innocent. So I'm not shocked by the news of Kyron Lacey being innocent, and I don't think Jaden is either. Everybody that knew him probably felt like he was innocent, but it's unfortunate. It's an unfortunate situation. You know what I mean? That he felt like everything was being snatched from him, and he felt like his only recourse of action was to take his own life. That sucks. But I think Jaden is going to go out here and maybe he'll, I'm pretty sure the entire season he's probably dedicating to Kyron Lacey anyway. Right. And then now that Malik is done for the year, probably going to strap him on his back as well and say, I'm going out here and I'm going to bless him for you too. So should be interesting. Should be interesting to see. But, prayers up to their entire family. Right. Mr. Ron B, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, what's up, Lou? Just made it to LA from NorCal. Looking forward to seeing JD5's homecoming and a Commander SoFi takeover. I know your instructions. It'll be carried out. I know you know, but I still got to tell you anyway, because some people ain't been adhering to the mission. You go in there amongst all of these Commander fans that are going to be in attendance, and you extract that dub and you bring it home. We need this one bad, Mr. Ron B. So you know what you got to do. Carry out the mission. Have fun. But don't come home without that dub, man. We need it. I trust that you're going to go in there and you're going to do what you're supposed to do and come back with everything that we need. All right? So, and I do think we're going to have a large contingency in attendance at this game. And we could turn this, but we had a large contingency at the Falcons game and we didn't get it done. So that means nothing. But y'all got to go there. Y'all got to represent. Y'all got to show out. Make it tough on the Chargers. Make it tough on the Chargers. And find a way to bring that dub home. Y'all know what you do. Now y'all got to go out and execute. So that is going to do it for me, your man Louie T, here on this Saturday edition of Commanders Nightly News. I thank you guys for joining me. Looking forward to reading your comments, seeing what you think is going to happen in this game. I'm not super confident, but I do think this team has what it takes to go on the road and make a statement here in week 5. Who do you want to be? Are you BMFs like you say you are? Are you a heavy hitter or not? If you are who you say you are, then prove it. It's as simple as that. The time for words is over. The time for action is now. You a BMF? You a heavy hitter? If you are who you say you are, prove it. No time like the present. As a wise man once said to me, don't put off for tomorrow what you can do today. Don't tell me, show me. If you are who you say you are, prove it. Hopefully tomorrow around 8 p.m., we'll be rejoicing over this team finding a way to be BMFs, to win in winning time moments, and to be a heavy hitter. You want to be a heavy hitter, you got to beat heavy hitters. The Chargers are heavy hitters. What you going to do? I'll see you guys on Sunday. Win, lose, or draw. Hopefully we'll be talking about another tally in the left-hand column for the good guys. No matter what, I'll see you then. Peace.
Here comes the diesel. Here comes the diesel. There's the snap, hand to Riggins. Good hole. He's got the first down to the 40. He's gone. The 35, the 30, the 20.